just wanted to give a quick synopsis of where things are in my room, just so you can have a general idea. Usually on this board, this is our concept question board, and also display a lot of the work that the students do. As we move over here, we keep up with what tables are doing. This is a way like a classroom management strategy for myself. Team effort. Purple, on time, on task. Yellow, need a little reminder. Red, we're not as focused as we need to be, which also leads to my favorite saying up at this clock, it's time to what? Focus. That's another attention grabber to let them know that we need to get back on time, on task if the students get a little distracted. I keep various posters throughout the room because I'm always using them in my lessons. Of course, a lot of this in this area over here has to do with writing. Things that we use for writing, our classroom rubric, different organizers or the steps in writing. Then moving over here with some of the reading, the different genre for fiction and nonfiction. Also, this is my area for workshop, extra copies, always reminders depending on what the workshop is for that month or that week. They can come over, look, as well as there's another location on the board over here where if it's specific workshop assignments that I want them to complete, they will be listed. This also goes into reading when it comes to close read. We've done a lot of that this year with non-fictional informational text, the text structures, the author's purpose, trying to think, text structure, author's purpose, point of view, and there's one that I'm not remembering, but I know, and the genre, and genre being right there. Then we have also handwriting. We're working and focusing on cursive, as well as some of the grammar areas with root words, which was really strong on both MAP and the M-STEP test this year. This is our family board, pictures of myself so they can know who I am and that I'm a human being outside of being a teacher, as well as them bringing in some of their family pictures to share. A lot of my reminders and things that I need over here to keep up with. Then I like to keep examples up here. As was stated earlier, if I was to redirect my assignment, sometimes I'll have the questions, start them off with a topic sentence that they come up with on their own. Here's another example where we've used the cited, but this time according to a video. We have been looking at a lot of videos as well as reading text so that they can pull from multiple sources to cite it with the informational text to improve their writing. Another examples of topics that we've used, as well as especially graphic organizers we use in the beginning of the year, the hand with the topic, 3 details in the closing, then moving to the boxes, and then of course moving to a paragraph, making sure we have an arrow to indent. Some other parts of grammar when it comes to figurative language. Something new that we started a lot of this year, and a lot of them are noticing that with the reading and the writing. It was on the M-STEP and the MAP quite a bit this year, as well as me making sure that I put down my goals and expectations and my objectives of things that they have to meet, dealing with social studies, dealing with reading and writing, as well as our target statements that we work on. Some of the other maps. As you know, I use a lot of chart paper throughout this school year, and there's other posters underneath besides these that show a lot of the roots that go back to the root inaccuracies that I just showed you over here that we've covered with some of our spelling words in our spelling book. Also, this is something that we follow for class group expectations when we're doing workshop, the acronym groups. It's a way for me to remind them once I have my crown on. Might as well get my crown. And give my signal while they are working on workshop. If they hear this noise, using the chime from Calm Classroom. Then, of course, letting them know which acronyms that they have followed, and then the ones that they need to work on. So it's common language, and they already know what is expected of them each time, especially if I make a reminder to them. From time to time, we'll take notes. If we've watched the video, we've done some writing that we can include as further evidence to put in our writing. We did one on time management. Something new that I started this year, which was parking lot. Sometimes I would have gone and asked for maybe 4 or 5 people to respond, and then others will have responses that they would like to give to make sure that they don't feel that I have avoided them or what they have to say is not that important. I'll give them a sticky note, they write it down, and then I respond, and then they can come and take their parking lot notes off the chart, and it continuously gets filled. Moving down further, here's some examples right here. If you see that they have a little colored marker or bubble right here, one of my Friday assessments is something called a gallery walk, where the students will walk around the room. There will be clues up here, and there will be questions on the subject areas that we talked about for the week. But they have to look and see where the clues are. Sometimes I keep them well hidden. If you look right here, there's one right here if they notice it, but it's on the side of the bookshelf. I have some inside of the bookshelf, and all of these have to do with vertebrae. And if you look right here on our bookshelf, we just finished talking about the 5 vertebrae, and we broke them up into categories. And this is where we watched the video as well as read an informational text, and we took notes so they can also refer to this while they're doing that assessment. Students already know over this area, this is our data wall. They know that this is where I keep their tier groups. If they ever need to remember, come over to this corner. This is Ms. Jabari's area, so come over here, look and see where you are or how you're doing. I also go over the data for the class as a whole to show them either where we're growing or we need to make some progress. And each time that a tier group changes, I make sure to add it to the board. Same thing with social studies. So I just wanted you to have an idea of some of the things. And there's probably some things that I didn't cover just now. But as you come in the room and you're looking for certain pieces of information, these are some areas that you could step and have a better idea of where to find some of the things that will help lead and guide you of how we do things in the classroom. Oh, and one last thing, exit slip box. We do have exit slips, and so they know before they leave, they need to put it in the exit slip box. You can see it's been well used this year for them to put their assignments in before they leave, to give me an idea or a synopsis of what they learned, what they may not understand, which goes to my rating, my understanding chart. It's a copy here, and an even bigger one up here. We do use a lot of hand signals for the thumbs up, okay, and thumbs down. Also, if you look around the room as another assessment, you see an A, and you see a B over here. Then if you turn around, you'll see a C, and you will see a D. Sometimes instead of using pencil and paper, Mr. Jabari will ask the questions aloud. The students will get up, and wherever they feel the correct answer is, they will stand over in that area. That's another assessment that we use, or way we assess ourselves in a fun way on Fridays. Use a lot of flowcab, use our hands to vote, especially when it comes to reading some of their paragraphs aloud, and they give me a vote on the 4, 3, 2, or 1. Same thing that we use in ELA as a group for our PLCs. 4 being all in. 3, you're on the right tracks and things you have to work on. 2, need a little reconstruction, redirection, and 1, completely lost. Word wall, some with vocabulary, same thing with spelling. We do something called sparkling here on Friday, students sitting on the desk, and throughout the week working on our spelling words and words for the spelling bee. Just wanted to give you a little synopsis of it all. Oh, of course, you know, plenty of books here, books for their reading levels that are already labeled, more books on the bookshelves, and we also have class reads per month, right now, this is probably going to be our last one this year, which is Blood and Thicker. Is Thicker, excuse me, which goes with the Bloofer series. They really get hooked. We usually get to maybe about 4 or 5. I hope to expand that in the years to come by purchasing more class sets to get them geared and ready for middle school.